All right, we back with a brand new episode of 1K Conversations. I'm joined by a lovely guest, Dahlia, otherwise known as DJ RoseGold. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Trying to stay, COVID free. It's dangerous out here.
How have you been doing with that?
I've been trying.
Has it been working?
I've been trying. I'll get back to you on that. I've been trying, but I've been wearing my mask and shit. I try, but for the most part, it's kind of weird because you see now there's two groups. It's like you got the anti-vaxxers, you got the vaxxers, you got no mask, you got the mask. It's like I don't know where do we go from here? So it's a weird time. You know.
I feel you.
100%. So how have you been adapting to this time?
To be honest, all I've been able to do is just stay positive and just remind myself that this can't last forever, and it won't last forever. Hopefully, at least. And yeah, just staying busy. It's been a little bit difficult because obviously being a DJ and being in the event space and traveling was like the first part of my job and the most important part of my job. Yeah. And not being able to do that has been hard, but I've found ways during all this too.
When's the last time you've been on a flight?
Well, about a month ago. It was actually.
Do we have masks here or hand sanitizer? Is there someone? No, I'm dead ass serious. No, I'm saying, but
yeah, it was about a month ago.
Where was it?
I went to LA.
I said LA. Shit, I heard the States right now is just completely open. I had a friend go to Miami. He's like, yeah.
Okay, no, there's different. There's different. Miami is open. Atlanta is very open. When I was in LA, they had just opened outdoor dining. I think on Monday they're opening everything. No, sorry, not everything. I think they just opened movie theaters today. Oh, really? They're opening some more stuff on Monday. Yeah,
that's big. That's big. Right now, I'm at a point where it's like I'm hearing talk about phase 3. I'm like, bro, that could be your phase. That's not mine. You know what I'm saying? Nah, dead ass. So
that's your king.
You could deal with that. You could take care of that. But I feel like a lot of us are getting to a point where it's just yo, it. I'm these rules. I need to go. You know what I'm saying? Have you reached that point? Or you get into it? Where are you with that?
I feel like we still obviously have to be super cautious. And I'm not going to encourage anyone to go out and go do anything crazy, of course. But you got to do what you got to do. Work has to be done. Money has to be made.
Facts.
Just do it safely, That's all I can say on that. What you do is up to you. I didn't encourage you to do it.
Listen, yeah, we all have I think people have been affected by this differently. You know what I'm saying? Businesses have closed. A lot of people are suffering, but you were just talking about how it impacted you. You're a person that travels a lot. You're in the industry and the entertainment scene a lot. So seeing all that shut down, that must have affected you a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. It affected a lot of people that are in the same space as me, for sure. But I think the good thing in all of it was that for people that are in kind of the same space as me, or even people that are way beyond me and more progressed than me, they were able to take a break. And I think that that's something that I was able to really embrace and cherish, because I didn't realize how much time I didn't spend at home. I didn't realize how much time I wasn't spending with my family. I didn't realize how much of a break I actually needed. I needed to just sit and chill, you know? Yeah. So that definitely was a positive, still is a positive, because obviously we're still here in it, phase whatever the hell at this point.
I lost track.
It's still phase 1 to me, to be I'm not keeping track of lockdown, we're open. Lockdown, we're open. I don't even know what number we're at.
The only reason why I disagree is because the gas prices are crazy right now.
Well, I've barely been going anywhere, so I really don't know. Yeah. Last time I checked, gas prices were 94 cents.
Oh. Where the hell are you, Grimsby?
No, I mean I barely go anywhere. I haven't been going anywhere, so I don't. The other day I did see that gas prices were high, but it's not phasing me because I'm not going anywhere. I'm here, obviously. Yeah. But you know what I mean.
It is what it is. But yeah. So in terms of just pivoting, because a lot of times with COVID, it forced a lot of us to if you're going this route, okay, now you got to go here or there. It's you can't really try to force something that isn't meant to happen. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of that, how have you embraced it? Because, like you just said, you took a break, but you're also pivoting, taking a different direction. How have you chose to I guess, choose a different direction?
I think I just pretty much in everything that I do, even with DJing and things like that, I've always tried to find gaps where I feel needed to be filled and like see where people weren't doing things that I could do. So at the beginning of COVID, I wrote a book, and that's something that I'd wanted to do for a really long time.
I've seen that. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, thank you. So, I wrote a book.
Hold on, let me just pause you right there. What was the process behind that? Like, what got you into it and just started that? Was there an influence? Like, was that something just that you always wanted to do? Like, what went behind that?
You know those things that you tell yourself that you'd love to do, but you're like, I would never do it?
100%, yeah.
Like, I would never. Like, I was like, I would never, ever write a book. Like, would it be cool? Yeah, but there's no way I'm sitting in front of a computer and typing out my thoughts because I dropped out of school for a reason because I don't like essays. I don't like writing.
Listen, that makes sense.
But yeah, literally, I just said, like, I think that I just had to take the difficult part out of it. Yeah. Because to me, I was trying to think about, I have to write all these chapters and it has to be 300 pages and all of that stuff. So I took that out and I'm like, I can make this like a workbook. I can just talk about my experiences or something like that. So yeah, I literally wrote it on Microsoft Word. I formatted it myself. I made the cover myself. It was shot by Coops, who shoots all my stuff. He literally shot the cover of my album. Sorry, not my album. He shot the cover of my book in my living room.
Shout out Coops, man. I seen his work. It's tough. It's tough.
He shoots for Beyonce, guys. And yeah, if he hears this, he's going to kill me.
That's all that needs to be said. He doesn't want that to be said?
No. He'd be like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, that's awesome. But among a lot of your endeavors, because I think we're in a time now that, like, if you try different things and fail at them, people are quick to scrutinize that. They're quick to point fingers. Meanwhile, these are the same people that haven't done anything. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So what's your philosophy with that? Because you're more than just a DJ. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're more than just someone that spins records and makes playlists. Like, what was your philosophy behind, like, actually exploring different avenues, not just being restricted to a box? How do you feel about that?
That's a good question, to be honest. Like, I don't really think it's anything I thought about. I think I started branching off when I was DJing a lot of parties, and the promoters were selling less tickets than me, and the club owners were like, okay, DJ RoseGold is going to come DJ at this party, and we know she's bringing like 30, 50, 80 people along with her. So then when I started realizing that I was bringing all these clubs, all this business, and bringing them all these people, I was like, I should start throwing my own parties. 100%. So I started throwing my own parties in 2018. 2017, I think, was I want to say 2017, at the end of 2018. Not that it matters. 2018, at the end of 2018, I started throwing my own parties. And from then I started throwing these mixers. And the mixers were basically a way for me to bring people from Toronto together to be able to network and stuff like that. Because I was going to the States a lot to network and go to conferences. And then I realized that a lot of people in Toronto didn't have that opportunity to be able to do the same thing. So I decided to bring it to Toronto. It was called Rose the Mixer. And that's when I realized, I was like, hey, I can throw events. So now this is something else that I can add to my resume of things that I do. Then as I was traveling, I'd be connecting with these artists and connecting with their managers and things like that. And they would always tell me, like, hey, we come to Toronto all the time, or we come on a tour stop and we just come in and we're out. Like, we don't do anything. And I was like, there's no way that you come to Toronto and not do anything fun or do anything cool, you know? Like, come here, eat McDonald's, stay in your hotel room and go home. Yeah. So I started becoming an artist liaison. So that's something that I would do is, like, when celebrities would come to the city, I would arrange their hospitality. I'd get them cars. I'd get them club bookings and just make sure that they had a good time when they came here. So
hospitality.
Exactly. So yeah, it wasn't really something I thought of, like, I need to branch off and do all these different things. They were kind of just things that I just started doing naturally, I guess.
So it's kind of like a building block. Like,
exactly.
Okay, you did this, but that kind of led to that, Okay.
Exactly.
That's interesting. You know, I mean, like I was just saying before, we're in a time now where criticism and people are very quick to point fingers at things. And it doesn't make any sense because, like, we have so much. Like, I'm a big believer in not only doing one thing, like, your whole life. It doesn't make sense. Like, if someone's an athlete, why are you going to be an athlete your whole life? It doesn't make sense. Like, we have to be so much more than that. And that's something that, like, I wholeheartly embrace. So it's kind of nice to see other people doing that. So
yeah, for sure.
that's
Thank you.
nice. Yeah, no, 100%. I want to talk about your DJing experience because that's something that I see a lot of people getting into now. But it can't always be glam and glitter. Like there's a lot of work that goes into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that process. Like, what have you?
Why are you laughing?
Nah, because I know there's gonna be a lot on this. But like, if you had to sum up like 2 or 3 things, what's the hardest thing behind that?
The hardest thing,
Yeah.
I would say, is really just making people believe that you're actually good and like make them want to book you.
Yeah.
Because you can be a DJ all you want. You can put out all these mixes, but it's like that doesn't mean that people are going to book you for anything.
That's facts.
So I think that proving your worth and understanding that DJing is also a business. You have to carry yourself like a business person. You have to operate like a business person. The things that you're posting on social media, things like that, you do have to be very, not cautious about, but you do have to be mindful because those are things that can potentially make people not want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I wouldn't necessarily say it's hard, but something that you have to be mindful of.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you brought that up because we're in a time now where social media is rampant. You know what I'm saying? People will bring up tweets from 2010 about something is crazy.
Go delete your tweets because what I had to do recently.
You did that?
Not that I had
you
to.
got some juice?
There wasn't anything crazy, but you never know with people these days. Like people are really like, sometimes it makes sense. Yes. However, there's some things that people
does it though?
Sometimes
from 2010.
Sometimes
people can grow though.
People can grow.
Yeah.
But I think it depends.
Okay.
I think it really depends. Like, if you said something in 2010, 2012, whatever, we're now in 2021, but it's like you haven't even, it's 2021.
God damn.
See, and you guys were laughing at me for not knowing if it was the 18th and 19th, so I don't even want to hear
different.
it.
I can't, it feels weird saying 2021 still.
I know it does.
That's just me, but
it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's something that you said all the way back then and it's like your behavior since then has still been kind of synonymous with what you were saying back then, then fine. Yeah. But cancel culture also isn't a thing I found.
Come on.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't. I don't know why people bring it up. It doesn't exist.
Because they're bored. They don't have anything else to talk about.
That too as well.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, okay, this is the thing with cancel culture. This is why it doesn't make any sense. It's because it's a bunch of people saying, okay, let's cancel this guy or let's cancel that girl, but they're not realizing that it's only their bubble. You might be canceled in Toronto, but are you canceled in LA?
Right.
Are you canceled in Miami? Are you canceled in New York?
Because a lot of time the news doesn't even spread all the way there.
It doesn't. It's just Twitter, and it's just Twitter's a whole nother.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to go there, bro. It's dangerous.
Twitter is the best.
Oh, I love
it. I would pay to use that app.
I would pay. I'm gonna edit that part. Don't give me any ideas, man.
You wouldn't pay to use Twitter? Where would you get your jokes from? Exactly.
You have no originality? What are you talking? Where are you getting jokes from?
Where am I going to get jokes from?
Originality. I can tell she has originality. What do you mean? Come on. There's plenty of that.
I would pay to use, if I logged on to Twitter right now and it was, in order to continue using this app, it's $7.99 a month, I'd be like, US dollars? Pounds?
Shit.
Euros?
No, that's facts. No. I feel like I've learned a lot. This is going to sound really bad.
I'm scared.
But I've learned a lot more on Twitter than I did from some university courses.
What? I just told you I dropped out. Look at me.
It's so sad to say because there's times where I'm studying shit. Well, actually, okay, right now, for example, everything's online, right? Mm-hmm. I call it Zoom University. I'm studying, whatever, but it's like I'm not learning anything. Like I can't I'm one of those guys where if I look at something and I'm doing it online, I got to be able to physically touch it. You know, it's kind of weird.
I agree. Yeah. Twitter definitely. I think the thing with Twitter though is there's so many different people from so many different walks of life. You know, somebody the other day, I don't know if you guys saw this. Somebody the other day, this was from TikTok, but it ended up on Twitter. They said that when you see percentage of precipitation on the Weather Network.
Oh no!
Did you see that?
I seen that. It's crazy.
Did you see that?
It's crazy.
Percentage of precipitation on the Weather Network is how much of a percentage will there be that it's going to rain in that exact spot that you're in or something? Or
hold on.
Or the percentage. Okay, if it's 100% in Toronto, it might hit you.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're in a bubble, 30% of that bubble will get covered.
But technically,
isn't that the same thing? Because there's still a 30% chance you're gonna get hit.
No, but it's not specifying the area. It's just saying in Toronto there's a 30% chance. So to me that means there's a 30% chance, like likelihood, that it's going to rain. Like it might not rain. Period. In Toronto.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it meant.
I feel like that's what everyone thought it meant, to be honest. But that's, yeah, like I said, I learned more from Twitter than
Twitter University.
Courses. I don't know. I'm in my last year. I'm trying to get this shit over with. Feel me? But yeah, there's a lot going on right now. We're in some strange times, really strange times. But you know, a lot of growth has happened too. I was just talking to one of my friends who just started their own business. They said because of COVID, they had a lot more time to do X, Y, and Z. And so, for you, how have you kind of built off that? Like right now, like I said, we have a lot more time to do different pursuits and stuff like that. So what have you chosen to do with that? So
let me think. So first was the book. That was like a venture of mine. Then I did The Hungry Gal, which we were talking about before.
Hold on, let me stop you right there. You just stopped right there. I was an advocate of Hungry Gal. I was an avid supporter of Hungry Gal.
And then
I ordered the pasta.
And then
it was crack.
And then
you tell me.
The Hungry Gal is no more, guys.
Can we so for the supporters of Hungry Gal, can you give them any hints, any expectation that some come back, or is it?
Yeah, I sell the sauce. Literally, if you liked the wings, I sell the wing sauce. You can literally make wings and throw the wing sauce on it. I promise it tastes like I made it. The pasta, I only offered rigatoni noodles. You can go boil fettuccine. You can boil spaghetti and put the sauce on it. It's the same. And the macaroni. Those are like the top 3 items.
Oh, I didn't have the macaroni still. I slipped.
So you can buy the macaroni. Man, you can buy the cheese sauce.
But is it the same though?
It is. I promise you it's the same. I use the exact same recipe. It even tastes, I would say probably even tastes better because I have more time and I'm not pressured and rushing.
That's a good point. Well, yeah,
but it's the exact same recipe.
For any of you, avid supporters of Hungry Gal, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So another thing I wanted to bring up, speaking of universities, I'm in Zoom University. I hate it. But, it looks like you're the head of one yourself.
The dean.
You're the dean. What's the admission rate? Like, how does someone like me get in?
I mean,
how does anyone get in, for instance?
I'm kidding.
Is it tough curriculum?
I'm kidding.
That's crazy.
No, so RoseGold University was a concept that I came up with in 2017. The actual name for RoseGold University came up because I was trying to figure out different merch that I can make for myself as a DJ. And I either just dropped out of school or I was about to drop out of school. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this would be funny if I made a school shirt that said RoseGold University because I'm now dropping out. So I used to go to York. So I copied my York University sweater and made a RoseGold University sweater. My mom still has. My mom actually has the only one that was ever made. So yeah, that's how the name came about. But RoseGold University is going to be a series of projects. I'm planning different things with youth and with different teachable items and education, an education aspect and things like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
So a lot of give back, a lot of community work.
Yeah. So the majority of it will be on the music side because if you do know, I don't know if you know, but I put out an EP in January.
I seen that. Yeah. I seen that. That's dope.
Did you listen to it? You said you seen it.
I saw it, man. I saw it. Listen, that's crazy. That is crazy.
So you seen it. You see how people work. You see how this works. You follow me on Instagram.
I got busy, man.
How are you too busy to listen to music? Exactly.
That's a good point. That's a valid point. But listen, not everything revolves around music, no?
Everything revolves around music.
How?
You're sad, you listen to music. You're happy, you listen to music. You're on your way to a party, listen to me. What do you do when you're in the car? Tell me.
I listen to a couple podcasts.
All right. Okay.
Am I the bad guy here?
All right.
You guys all listen to podcasts? I know you
might as well just unfollow me at this point. You're not going to engage in my content.
I will get engaged.
You're not assisting in the percentage of my analytics at the end of the week.
I'm an avid supporter of Hungry Gal. Avid supporter of the mixers. And now I'm getting slapped because I just didn't listen to the EP. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. I don't know.
Yeah, because if you're going to support, you have to support all the way through.
But what is support? Support doesn't always look like listening. There's different ways of supporting, right?
You're right. So which way do you like to support? Tell me.
I'll get back to you.
Exactly.
Nah, but you know, that's interesting. That's awesome. Like for when I first saw DJ RoseGold University or RoseGold University, I was like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are you opening your own institution? Are you actually going to teach courses, or is it something that is it something that actually is gonna is it more music related or entertainment center? So to see something like that done, I never seen it before. And like you're saying, I think what you're doing right now is all about going into lanes that haven't been covered.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying with the mixer, like in Toronto, it's not, you know, not a lot of events like that. Like RoseGold University is not a lot of events like that. So would you say that's your formula?
Yeah, that's absolutely my formula. My formula is finding what people are not doing and doing it. Because anybody that's successful is doing something different than somebody else. Like you could open a burger shop and there's 50 other burger shops that are in the same plaza as you, but you will still have a lineup outside of your door if you're doing something different than what everybody else is doing. That's facts. So there's thousands and thousands of DJs out there, but I decided to so the RoseGold University albums, basically I'm taking the DJ Khaled approach. So there's a few women who have done something similar to this, where they're producers and DJs and they're making these albums like DJ Khaled style, Calvin Harris style. And yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. Is I realize that there isn't a woman who's on the scale of DJ Khaled. There isn't a female DJ who's able to sell out stadiums or get, you know, chart topping singles back to back to back. Yeah. So I identified that that's something that nobody's doing, or that kind of, I guess, no woman has been able to kind of reach those accolades yet. Although there are, like I said, lots of women who are doing something similar to that. But yeah, that's pretty much like the gap that I realized needed to be filled.
That's interesting. I wanna piggyback off of that because a lot of women in entertainment is important. I'm a very fond supporter of that, and you know, you being one of them is outstanding. Thank you. Know what I'm saying? I think that's something that the industry needs, is more women in it, because I've talked to my friend, my co-host Alex. I talked to him about this as well. Business and entertainment, if you want to run it correctly, you got to have some women on your team, either at the head positions or beside you. But that's something that I don't see enough of, especially here in Toronto too, right? So with you, is that something that, you know, you're trying to advocate for more? Are you trying to help other women more? Like, what's your stance on that?
So the next project I'm coming out with, without saying too much, is really going to answer that question. But just
can't get any hints.
No, but just on the back end.
That's tough system. Damn, tough system.
No, like I'm huge on women supporting women. There's a lot of things that I also do behind the scenes, like whether it be, I get a lot of DMs from young girls or women who are kind of starting in the music industry that want to be DJs, and they send me their mixes and I'll listen to them and give them feedback, all of that fun stuff, because I had support when I was starting, but I wish I had more support, to be honest with you, when it came to, like, I wish that there was more women that I was able to look up to.
Yeah, because there wasn't a lot of representation, right?
Yeah, like obviously there's a lot of female rappers and musicians and things like that, but when it comes to DJing, so DJ Killa Kells is a DJ from Toronto, and she was one of the first, or one of the only women DJs that I reached out to, and she literally sent me like paragraphs on kind of like tips that she had for a mix that I sent her. So just little things like that, and me knowing that I'm able to give back. I think that women need to continue to work together. But even in another interview that I did a couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't want to be forced to work with women just because I'm a woman.
Yeah, it's not a quota thing. You know what I'm saying? If there's guys that can fill the position better than women, I think you should take the guy, in my opinion. But like I'm saying, you still need that representation in the room. You still need those women in the room, because I don't know what it is, but something about guys and them all together, just the product it's not a good product.
It's not the same. It's definitely not. And if you look on anybody's team, like any of your favorite artists, I can guarantee you that there's women on their team for sure. But I will definitely try to recruit a woman before recruiting a man, regardless.
Are men still ain't shit?
Men ain't shit. But when it comes to business, you guys can be shit when it comes to business. in a good way.
I'm not gonna sit here and Nah, I'm not allowing slander. What are you?
You're the one that brought it up. First of all,
No,
I was just going off of what you said.
I just had to ask because we're talking about Twitter earlier. I see that if I score once, I'm seeing many shit. I'm probably seeing it
because they aren't.
Oh, come on, please.
Next question.
Please, that's crazy. So that's crazy. But so what's next for DJ RoseGold? You've done a lot so far. We're in a pandemic, so I'm not. I think a lot of people aren't expecting much from anyone. But like, how do you see yourself?
That's very true. I think that's a good thing about this time is like, there's a pressure that people are like, I feel like people should be doing more and blah blah blah. But at the same time, it's like we're in a whole pond of replay. So we're in a Pantene Pro V. We're in a Pantene Pro V.
Pantene Pro V. Don't fucking kill me. Holy fuck. But yeah, no, that's facts. Like the bar is low, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Right? Like you're saying you took that break and you started something amazing. So like a lot of times we're in like I talked about this before, like we're in this rat race. Like it's like go. You gotta go to A, you gotta go to B, you gotta go to C, and that's kind of how our society is based off of like your worth. Like how much can you fulfill? How much can you succeed? How much can you finish? And it's like not enough people understand the value of taking breaks. Because sometimes as a creator, like Jason, you as well too. There's times where like you might get just completely on E. Your gas tank's on E. So where do you go from there? Like you can't really continue that. We're not robots, right?
I think the thing is a lot of us didn't realize that we were on E. That was for me. I didn't realize how much of a break I needed until I was forced to take a break, because I can guarantee you, if COVID didn't happen, I would not. I didn't think that it was necessary for me to take a break until I was at a point where I felt like I deserved a break.
But that's the thing too. That this is just me personally, but that finish line where it's like, okay, I deserve a break. Now it's constantly moving.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Do
for
you
sure.
ever feel like you're gonna reach that point? Like that's the tough thing, right?
I think that's where it comes. That's where it's important to start writing down your goals and manifesting, because if you're writing down your goals and you're telling yourself, I want to achieve this, this, and this, and you have this list, and then at the end of the list, you're like, okay, once I achieve these things, I can take a break, then cool.
Yeah.
Not saying that it has to be done that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be done that way, because everyone deserves a break no matter what, because the worst thing that you can do is burn out, and then you're doing all this for nothing, because then you're delivering product that...
Yeah, what am I said he burnt, like he's go, burns out and takes like a week off watching Netflix. I'm like, brother,
yeah,
you can't be doing that. You know what I mean? That's toxic. That's crazy.
But it's okay. But that's okay. I think that's...
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
To burn out for
No, I'm not saying it's okay to burn out. No, not to burn out.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
I think that the thing is that so I'm speaking from experience. Like I didn't think that I deserved a break. Like, yeah, I'd go on vacations and things like that, but
that's
I would go on vacations and I was still doing work. Like I could never unplug, because also something that a lot of creatives have, and I know that I have this, is FOMO. I feel like if I leave my phone down for too long, that I might miss out on an opportunity, So I always felt the need to be attached to my phone, attached to my emails, making sure that I'm always delivering content and doing all this stuff, because I felt like if I didn't, somebody else was going to get that opportunity. However, the important thing that I learned is anything that is meant for you is always going to be for you. So if you missed that email 2 hours ago, if that opportunity is meant to be for you, no matter how long you waited to send that email back,
it'll be there.
It's still going to be there if it was meant to be for you. So that's what allowed me to kind of detach as well.
It's tough, man. Like there's times where I'm on my phone. Like I'll be the first one to say it. I'm addicted to social media. I might not be the only one here, but I'm addicted to it, and it's toxic. Like I find myself like, this is crazy. I'll be driving. I'll be on the KW garden or whatever. I'll be driving, checking IG or whatever. I'll put it down. I'm like, hey, yo, I'm not gonna check my phone until I get to my destination.
Oh, good luck.
You know what I'm saying? Subconsciously, this is what I'm telling myself.
Yeah, because you're listening to a podcast, so it doesn't matter. Why do you need to touch your phone? You're listening to a podcast.
That's what I'm saying, right? The gem's already like, I don't need to touch it. But anyways,
continue.
But there's times where I'm like, yo, I'm not touching my phone. But then I'll drive and I won't even recognize it, and I'll have my phone in my hand checking shit. I'm like, what the? That's when I knew it was a problem. You know what I'm saying? When I couldn't even realize that I'm doing something until it's just fucked. So social media is an addiction in itself. It's really addicting. But I wanted to kind of bring it back a little bit because you talked about manifestation. That's something that I saw that was very important. I feel like a lot of people are talking about manifestation, got to visualize your goals here. But I feel like manifestation doesn't work unless you work.
Yeah.
There's times where I see some shit like, yo, I'm manifesting $1 million next week. I'm like, brother, are you putting in any work for that? What are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. So, like, what's when you say manifestation, what do you mean by that?
I think what I mean by that is, and if you haven't watched, have you watched the Big Sean interview on Jay Shetty's podcast?
I think I heard about that though.
Listen, you have to listen to it. I just listened to it a couple of days ago, and this is how I'm literally going to answer your question. Big Sean literally said, you become what you think about. So manifestation doesn't just mean writing down all these things that you want to achieve necessarily. It's more so just putting yourself in that mindset that welcomes positivity to happen. So I think that one thing that we do a lot and we don't realize is we literally speak negativity into our lives. And we don't even realize it. You know? You'll be like, even little things, like if someone brings up to me like, what are you gonna do if you meet Beyonce? And I'm like, I'll faint. You know, even something so small as that, it's like you're welcoming that thought into your mind. So I think manifestation for me, what I do is I have a manifestation journal. Every morning, I try every morning, but definitely every night before I go to bed, I just write down 3 things as if they've already happened. So like, I got this, I did this, I got that, whatever. And you speak it as if it's already happened. And I think that that's not only am I trying to convince myself like it's going to happen, but it's like you're already putting it out into the universe as if it already has, right? So I think what's important about that is you're also training your mind to tell you that you're capable of that as well. Yeah. But that whole, writing down like I'm going to get $1 million next week or whatever, sure, right. I'm not going to tell you to not write that down, but I think the most important thing about manifestation as well is being realistic, because the worst thing that you can do is set unrealistic expectations for yourself, because then you end up kicking yourself because you're like, I set this goal and I didn't reach it. Damn, I didn't. Facts. But you probably weren't going to reach it because you weren't being realistic. If you're saying, I'm going to make $2,000 by next week because you know that you're a graphic designer and you can find some clients or whatever the case is, I think it's really important to be realistic with your goals and be realistic with your manifestations. I like that. I completely agree with that. But then you have the people that are like, no, why be realistic? A lot of our biggest inventions in this world were not realistic. But that's fine. But they're also timely. It all comes down to time. It all comes down to timing. Like you can't, if you know that you sat in bed all week and didn't do anything, and next week you also want to sit in bed and do nothing, and then you go and write down in your manifestation journal that you want to make $1 million. How? They probably retweeted it too. Of course. Yeah, you can't. They liked and retweeted it. Yeah, might have shared. Definitely shared. Definitely shared. But yeah, you have to be like, I'm not saying realistic as in like, don't think that you can achieve like the craziest things in the world. Like, no, like you can, but just be timely with what you're manifesting. Like if you want $1 million, maybe say you want it in 5 years. Yeah. I think with manifestation and just overall believing, because I think that's all it comes down to is believing, right? Like you have to be accepting of it. You have to be ready for that to come. And I think a lot of times that doesn't always happen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You might want X, Y, and Z, but are you ready for it? Yeah. Are you set up for that? Are you ready to take on that load that it might carry, So that's something I wanted to highlight too as well. But that's interesting though. That's interesting. I do want to take it back to RoseGold University, kind of building off of that. You said a lot of that it has to do with community and giving back. You yourself starting off as a DJ, you were reaching out to other DJs, asking for tips, advice, what should I do here? What should I do there? So for those that are listening to this and that might want to be a DJ or get into that entertainment scene, what kind of tips or advice do you have for them that are just stepping foot into that? I would say definitely find some people that you look up to and study them. Like study what they do, study what they did to get where they are. Ask questions. Like not everyone responds to DMs. Like I know that I don't unless it's something that, if it's somebody that cares and somebody that wants to assist, I would definitely kind of like take that leap of faith and DM people that you look up to, maybe ask them for tips and stuff. And I would say just to be patient. Like, it doesn't happen overnight for everybody. Some people it does. Don't get me wrong. Some people it does. But don't think that because you've now been trying to DJ for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. May seem like a long time, depending on, again, what your like timing and like what your goals are, you know?
Timing, like it's again,
Yeah, that would be my piece of advice is I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for people like DJ Gallus, who literally helped me.
It's a classic.
No, he literally, like, Gallus once a week for I think like 2 or 3 months. Like, I would just go over to his house. He wouldn't charge me. He was just doing it just out of the kindness of his heart, and was just teaching me everything I needed to know about DJing. Gave me all this music, taught me how to DJ. Like, all the fundamentals that I know about DJing came from him. So without that, I literally don't know where I would be right now, because I would have been in my basement at that point in time trying to figure out how to use my DJ controller.
You know, it's crazy that you pointed that out, because Toronto has this reputation. I can't even talk. Toronto has this reputation of being cutthroat. You know, no one's really working together. No one's supporting each other. But to hear instances like that completely goes against the grain. So it's like, is that always the case?
No.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense.
I think that it's almost become, and everyone's experience, like, I've had experiences where people have been super helpful for me. Yeah. And I've had experiences where people haven't even wanted to look my way and now they want to look my way. Now they see that I'm doing things, you know? There's so many different scenarios. So I can't say that it doesn't happen, because it does. But I feel like it's almost become a trend now to just say people in Toronto don't support people in Toronto. It's like almost become a trend to say that.
Exactly, because it's a cool thing to say. But every time you always bring up that, like, people bring up the comparison of Atlanta, you know, LA. It's like, bro, I see people supporting people here. What are you talking about? We're networking, collabing. Like, my guy Jason, the videographer, shout out Real Go Getters. I've met him, networking, collabing. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I think it's not something that is that hard to do. I think people just have this image like, oh, fuck, he's from Toronto. Shit, nah, I can't work with him. Nah, let me reach out to someone.
People do. I think the thing is, people see everything as a competition, because in Atlanta they've seen hundreds of artists succeed. Yeah. In Toronto, we've seen Drake, The Weeknd, Jesse Reyes. Yeah. You know, like, there's like a few key ones that we can point out that we feel like it has to be a competition between everyone, because to us, we look at it and see, like, there's only been a select few, like a handful of people that have really made it big. So if I want to make it big, I have to step on everyone else's toes in order to get to that point, because there's only room for 10 of us or whatever that number is.
Grabbing a bucket.
Exactly.
Mentality, yeah.
But I think that we're breaking out of that. I think that people abroad and internationally are starting to see that it's not just Drake and The Weeknd, and there's so much more talent, which is great. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's always, like, even for me, like, I would be lying to you if I said people in Toronto don't support me. If I look at my Instagram analytics, if I look at my SoundCloud, Toronto is the #1 city on the entire list. So I can never say that Toronto doesn't support. But the thing is, a lot of people will support you behind closed doors. That's fine.
But they won't say it? They won't tell you, like, yo, your shit's dope?
But it doesn't, people don't have to message you every day to tell you your shit is dope.
No, I'm not saying that. But a lot of times, I'm an avid, like, supporter of giving people their flowers while they're here.
No, absolutely. But it's also unrealistic to think that every single person that's a fan of your music is going to reach out to you.
That too as well. But, you know, to me, it's the behind the closed doors, in secrecy.
That's fine, because guess what? Streams equal money. So keep listening behind the doors, because I'm getting paid. So it's okay.
But at the end of the day, doesn't it help you though as well?
Those of course.
That mix was tough.
No, absolutely. But I think on the other side, don't expect that every nice message that you send is going to be responded to either. Oof. Because I wish that there was a feature. I wish there was a feature in Instagram where if someone messages me and I want to respond, that it's like every message after that, I'm not going to get a notification that this person's messaging me.
You might want to say that idea, eh? Because they're probably going to come and make that right now.
I really hope that they do, because I would like to respond to, like...
Wait, so you want something to respond, like an automatic, like,
no,
message? What do you mean?
No. Like, okay, if somebody was to message me and I don't follow them... Yeah. It is in your message requests.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I then respond to your message, automatically you can message me anytime you want, and I'm going to get a notification every time you message me.
It has to be exclusive in a sense. Like even if you responded to a message,
I wish it still stayed in my requests.
Yeah, stay over there.
Yeah,
you're doing too much.
Yeah,
stay in your corner, boy.
But like I want, like, I'm very grateful for the people that like do reach out and things like that. But it is unrealistic to be like everybody is going to reach out.
I completely agree. I mean, even with this podcast, like I've had people reach out that I haven't talked to in years, and it was dope. But I'll be honest, as a creator, it's nice to hear those messages.
No, absolutely.
It really is, but like you're saying, at the same time, it's like it's not realistic.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not realistic at all. So, but just bouncing back off of the industry, clearly, like we were just saying, Toronto's not all that. It's not really a cutthroat environment. Like, what? Let me ask this: where do you see our environment going forward in the future?
I would like for there to be more people openly supporting people.
Well, that's what we were just saying. Yeah,
I would like that. I would like for it not to be every time that people are talking about Toronto, there's a negative connotation behind it. Like people from Toronto, I mean, talking about it, there's not negative, like nothing negative behind it.
Toronto, okay, this is kind of off topic, but Toronto Twitter might be one of the most toxic environments I've seen in my life. Yo, that's crazy. If you guys aren't familiar with it, don't be, because you don't want to.
He said don't be.
But yeah, no, like
I don't engage. I just observe and send it to the group chat.
No, 100%.
I too send it to the group chat.
She does that? That's crazy. You have to have a certain level of intelligence to know not every conversation is for me.
Oh, absolutely. It's not everyday respond. It's not everyday interact. I know. Let me tell you. I know everything that happens on the timeline.
100%.
Do I ever? If you scroll through you will never even think that I follow anybody.
Yeah.
That has to do with any of that, because I don't speak on things that have nothing to do with me.
But then you have other people that do.
And that's fine. Stay there.
Is it?
It's fine for you. Whatever
crazy,
you think is fine. You stay. Has nothing to do with me all.
There's a lot going on, man, and that's just social media altogether. You got platforms like Twitter, Instagram. New big one now is TikTok. I don't know if you're on that.
Huge.
Crazy. It's crazy.
TikTok is huge.
I was talking about it with my other guy actually before coming here, and he's like, he has his own business actually. He sells hats called Toronto. Shout out those guys. But he said that he posted a couple of videos, went viral, and he made like 30, 40 sales that day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the power of social media. And so for you, being in the creative scene, being a DJ, being a curator, how has that impacted your branding, your imaging, your business? How has that impacted you, social media altogether?
That's really how I got my start, was branding myself. And like I was saying at the beginning, you're a business. I recognize that I'm a business. Mm-hmm. And you just have to brand yourself in the way that makes you look like you're a business. If you go to Drake's Instagram page or Cardi B or whatever, like you see quality photos, you see quality content. Like you have to produce quality in order. People are not going to pay you if they don't think that you're worth being paid for. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. Like social media is everything. Like social media is my resume. The other day, I had to submit a resume for something, and I was like, for an actual job. And I was like, I don't even have one of those. Like, like
it's been a minute. Yeah.
The last time I had a resume, it was said Buffalo Wild Wings and freaking Boston Pizza on it. This is the last resume that I had. I was like, I don't even know what to put on this resume.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as a creative or as an artist, like your Instagram is your resume. It even comes down to little things like your reels and your highlights and all of that stuff. Like watch YouTube videos on how to utilize that stuff. Like I'm still learning.
Yeah,
it's really important.
There's a lot that goes into it that I don't think people realize. Like creating content. At first, like before I was ever in that environment, I thought it was just something that you just snap your fingers, it's there. But I didn't really understand how much went behind it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that really opened my eyes. Content creators, videographers, photographers, making playlists, making mixers. That's something to me that just you develop a different level of respect for that. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So that's really interesting that you say. But yeah, no, that's crazy. I kind of want to flip it back just to where, DJ RoseGold started. I think some people might be interested in like how, like who are your influences? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you start a new craft, but we have that person there beside us that said, do that, do this. You mentioned DJ Galas. That's a big name. That's a staple in the city. But who have you looked up to and said, nah, like, I kind of want to be like them, or I kind of want to model myself after them?
Definitely DJ Khaled. That's more recent when I started getting into producing. I would say DJ Khaled. Before that, like I deliver now and say that upcoming DJs should find mentors and find people to look up to.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that. So to be honest, I didn't have anybody that was a DJ that I was like, I want to be like that person.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even thinking about myself on a DJ Khaled scale when I was just starting. But just influences in general, definitely my dad and my brother. So my dad, he's a reggae artist. His name's Terminal DG. And my brother is Chilla. And Chilla did a lot of stuff. Like Ram Riddle's first project was recorded in my basement. And On My Own by Nav was produced by my brother and recorded in my basement as well. Yeah. So those are my influences. Like, influences don't always have to be people that are like on the TV and things like that you're looking at. Like, I'm influenced by my brother and my dad. They really showed me how to kind of navigate the music industry.
Yeah.
And how to, I guess, be confident, how to just, never give up, because they've both been working obviously for a very long time. And those would definitely be my influences. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. A lot of creative endeavors going on right now. You're one to explore a lot. Your most latest, the album, the EP, the one that I have not listened to. Yes, I get it. Okay. Talk a little bit about that. What went behind that? Inspirations? Like, what's the deal with it?
So I actually started working on that album in 2018 when I first decided that I wanted to start producing. Mm-hmm. So my brother and I were traveling. Every city that we went to, we'd go to the studio and just bring in a bunch of different artists. And I ended up having what I thought was my album.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2018. And I decided that I needed to scale back and I needed to really like hone in on like a genre, or like hone in on something that just was true to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
So the album, all the beats were made literally in like October, November. I A&R'd the entire project. So I found all the artists that are on the project. And something interesting about this project that now is, I guess, public knowledge. My brother, who produces alongside me, or he's like the beat maker and like, like the brains really behind kind of like the beats and stuff like that. He was undergoing his chemotherapy treatments while we were working on the entire album.
Wow.
Yeah. So all the beats were made in between his like chemo treatments, which was crazy. And
that's amazing. Holy.
Yeah. Just thinking back, it's like, there's so many times that I needed we needed to get something done, or we got vocals in and we needed to do certain things. And like, he was just out, like he just couldn't. Yeah. And so yeah, that was kind of the process of it. And that was something that happened kind of during the process of that. But the album is called RoseGold University Homecoming because it's the first of a series of projects that are coming out. And it's just with a bunch of upcoming talent that I think is next up. So there's Chilla, who's my brother, Nemesis from Jamaica, Angelou May, who's from the UK, Chantel, who's literally like my best friend from high school, and Idman. Idman, if you guys haven't heard about Idman, you heard it here first. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, shit, exclusive.
That's all I gotta say.
You heard it first, man. Shit. So
you literally heard it here first. Cause yeah.
Awesome. So is that something like you said, it started years prior, but like, was there a certain influence behind it? Was there a certain was that something that you always wanted to do? Because like I said, you started DJing, but is that something that was like at the end goal? Like, no, I want to release an EP.
No, like honestly, I don't have before. Like now, I have a lot of goals that I'm working towards. But before, it was just like I just want to be a DJ, and I think that this is fun, and I know I'm really good at it, and I brand myself. But one day, I don't even know what it came from, but I was like, there is no female DJ who is as big as DJ Khaled, and I feel like I could be the person to do that.
Yeah, no, I can't think of any.
Yeah, like
that's sad, really.
There's DJ Charisma. She's a really, really big deal in the States. She's super fire. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a lot others that, are doing amazing things, but nobody that I can say sells out stadiums or is like on their own tour and things like that as a DJ, as a woman. That's a DJ, I should say.
There needs, like I was saying, this all comes back to just building that support system, that network, that mentorship program, or whatever you want to call it, of women helping women, but women helping women get into those scenes. Like I'm saying, you're in a position now that you can do that.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too, like the fact that I'm identifying it, it's not like I want to be the one and only.
Yeah, no.
It's not about that. I want to show young girls and women that everyone can kind of, do this. I don't care if somebody does it before me. I don't care if somebody, advances further that's fine. Yeah. Because there's space for look how many rappers there are.
There's space for everyone.
Look how many rappers there are. Look how many,
Not everyone realizes that though.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But no, that's interesting. And I think that's something that should be done. Like just building that network, that system of like, oh, you need that done. Okay, I got someone for you. Or,
exactly.
In that space, okay, let me make this call. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, but that's really all it comes down to is giving back mentorship. So I'm kind of glad that you brought that up. That it's something that you're actively trying to pursue right now. So it's good.
Thank you.
On that note, last words.
No, because you already told the people that you didn't listen to the EP, so that's good.
That's crazy. That is. Anyways, on that note, you guys can like, follow, subscribe. We got a lot more content coming soon. Dahlia, DJ RoseGold, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. We're here. So guys, stay tuned. We're here.